So for the last couple weeks, we've been talking about change. The first week we talked about the principle of resisting what we need the most, and I think that's a very human thing for many of us, right? Last week we talked a little bit about how sometimes the best to worst to best scenario, in other words, we think we're in the best place, change happens and we think it's the worst, but ultimately it turns out to be for the best. So I want to take those couple ideas and maybe move on to like another layer. That being accepting change for what it is, inevitable, right? Change is everywhere. The great societies of the world are the societies that have been able to evolve and change and accept the pace of change and bring it in and make it part of the routine. Well, we're no different as individuals. Finding ways to plan ahead and look at the change that's coming and embrace the change, making sure that we are kind of reframing the way we think about whatever the change is, and maybe adjust our mindset to being a little bit more open to accepting change and looking for the positives in the change is a great place to go. Sometimes there's a timeline that becomes part of that change. Like, I'm going to give this 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Oftentimes when we lean into a timeline, we actually find ourselves creating sort of benchmarks for that change acceptance, and that becomes part of the process that makes the concept of leaning into change and bringing change into our lives that much more real. Sometimes it creates discomfort, right? Change is sometimes very, very uncomfortable. And that's why it's so important to find other things to counteract that discomfort. Maybe it's going to your favorite restaurant for lunch and kind of having a moment of solitude and kind of like telling yourself everything's fine kind of thing. Maybe it's just going for a run or a walk. Maybe it's watching a favorite movie when you're home from work. But accepting that change and finding ways to build around that change is probably a really important thing. That's also kind of part of like the normalcy, making sure that you still feel like you're in control of your life, even though there's change going on all around you. And of course, I'm a big believer in gratitude. We all have much to be thankful for. We all have much to be grateful for. Leaning into gratitude makes dealing with change and changing markets and changing technologies and business models and concepts and marketplaces that much easier to accept, because when we live in a place where we're truly grateful for the things that are going on in our world, it just makes everything fall into place that much more readily. Thanks for being here. Have a great week.